Hi, I'm your host, Attorney Michael Potter. Welcome to part 2 of our discussion of the most common mistakes in estate planning. Now, with our discussion in part 1 still in mind, I'd say that here at the beginning of part 2, the number one mistake would be the failure to update your estate plan when the laws change. We recently went through a major change in estate planning that took effect in January of 2013. And what that means to you and me is that it's time to get your estate plan reviewed and, if necessary, updated and changed to be in consonance with the current estate tax law. A mistake that we often see out there is the failure to use a living trust as a key component of your estate plan. I do recommend the living trust because it allows you to escape probate and it allows you to pass the assets privately and quietly to the people that you want. Now, another mistake that I often see is the failure to plan for gradual inheritance. I'm a big believer in that. By gradual inheritance, receiving assets over a longer period of time or at certain intervals, there's a much better chance that the assets won't get blown by the beneficiaries. And number two, there's a better chance that the assets will grow over time with prudent investment and wise management. That way, your heirs are older and more mature as they receive the different portions at different times. And that way, they appreciate the value of money, they're not depending on it, and it's something that they can continue to benefit from over a long period. To me, that makes much better sense. Now, your trustee is going to have a key role in making sure that your assets are distributed according to your wishes, not somebody else's, and not according to their own. Their job is to be a fiduciary for you and to stand up for you and do what you've asked when the time comes. It's extremely important to pick the right trustee for your living trust. You know, one of the most important things you can do with your estate plan is to make sure that you use a living trust and that you pick a good trustee. It's very important to pick a trustee that you're comfortable with, a person who has the integrity and honor to do the right thing. Another common mistake is the failure to choose a backup trustee. I like the idea of having a first choice, a second choice, and a third choice as trustee. That way, if something happens to your first choice, the second choice can step into their shoes and handle things for you. Likewise, a third choice should be selected because now that third choice steps into the role of secondary choice. So having a first, second, and third choice is a good idea, and it gives you some flexibility. So if something happens to either one of the first two choices, you still have a viable backup who can step into their shoes and handle things for your trust. You know, another area that I think is sometimes overlooked is the failure to plan for incentives that might stretch your heirs so that they reach farther and become more of the people that you know they're capable of being. For example, you might have an incentive where your heirs receive 25% of their inheritance when they finish college. Another 25% when they get a master's or doctoral degree that gives them more opportunities out there in the world. and maybe another 25% when they reach age 30 if they own their own business and they're creating jobs out there in the world. And maybe a final incentive that they get another 25%, the last portion of their inheritance, at age 40 if they are contributing to the community through their church, their synagogue, their temple, or participating in the community service through, say, the Red Cross or the Make-A-Wish Foundation or the Scouting Program. Any one of these kinds of things that they could be doing would be an excellent incentive to receive the final portion of their inheritance. I'm a big believer in gradual inheritance and inheritance with incentives. Now, a final area to discuss with you. You know, one of the things that I like to offer is a trustee's briefing. Whether your trust was written by my office or another law firm, I like to offer a trustee's briefing because many trustees don't know exactly what's expected of them, and it's a little overwhelming to think that they're going to be responsible at your death to make distributions. And so I like to offer a trustee's briefing. In this briefing, we go through a checklist with the trustee of exactly what's expected of them so they feel comfortable about it. And number two, we discuss with the trustee the various options that may come up and how they would handle them. This gives the trustee much greater comfort in serving in your estate plan. And I would like to offer that to you. If you'd like to have a trustee's briefing, please contact my office. We'll be glad to set it up. There's no charge for it, and we're glad to be of service in that way. Well, this has been part 2 of the most commonly made estate planning mistakes. I'm sure you might have some questions, and if you do, my staff and I are more than glad to be of service. I'm Attorney Michael Potter, and I look forward to hearing from you.